And this is the Vanguard after all, so we have an ambulance to chase in this live stream before we get out of here, guys. This is really kind of just like, this is just hilarious. Like, this is like, talk about airing out your dirty laundry in public and like kind of getting your own skid marks on yourself, if I can follow that analogy to its natural conclusion. Max Blumenthal thinks he's out here with a complete own on Ben Norton, but honestly, he just makes himself look really bad here, guys. Do you want to read it, Gavin, or do you want me to take it?
If you want to read it, that's cool. But in case anyone's not familiar with the context, Ben Norton used to be part of the Grayzone along with Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate, but about I guess it was in January of 2022. So that's like a year and a half ago or so. Around that time, Ben Norton left the Grayzone. And ever since then, there have been rumblings of some of these allegations. I know that Jackson Hinkle has repeated these allegations against Ben Norton before. And like I said, I've heard like rumors about some of this drama, but Max came out here, laid it all out, at least from his perspective. And then we also got a response from Ben Norton to show you guys from his perspective.
Some spicy video.
Yeah. So this is definitely a messy situation. Do you want to take this, Zach?
Sure. I'll intro. I'll pass the baton because this looks long and I'll get tired of it. But here we go. Enough silence. The criminal schemes of Ben Bait and Swish Norton must be known. In January 2022, Ben Norton lied to the public about the circumstances of his departure from the Grayzone, creating the false impression that he left voluntarily in protest of our critical coverage of the mass surveillance, repression, and penury imposed on citizens across the world under the guise of pandemic controls. In fact, I fired Ben for publicly attacking his colleagues. Bam. Okay, so Mr. Free Speech. Okay, that's what's hilarious. This is the first red flag here. Mr. Free Speech, I'll sacrifice anything for free speech. Don't suppress anybody, even rapists' free speech. They all need to have their free speech. Fired Ben for exercising his free speech. Okay, so let's just get that here right out of the way. First paragraph is bullshit. Second paragraph, he gets to the meat and potatoes, and what does he say? He lays out that he's fired Ben Norton for his speech, guys. Ouch. Big L. I'm excited to hear other guys from the Grayzone, Aaron, Glenn, all come together and condemn Max for firing this man for using his fucking free speech, right? I'm waiting for it. Go ahead, Gavin.
Also, I was going to say, I don't remember seeing Ben publicly attacking any of his Grayzone colleagues. Like, I do remember Ben Norton kind of maybe pushing back a little bit on some of the vaccine stuff and saying that the truckers were, obviously just an astroturfed right-wing psyop, essentially. But I don't remember him attacking his colleagues publicly. I do not remember him saying Max Blumenthal is a right-wing propagandist or something like that. Like, I just don't remember that happening until after he left. And then, maybe he said something like that, but I just don't remember any public attacks.
Yeah. So he fucking fires the guy for publicly disagreeing with him, and particularly me is the other funny part, over our opposition to perpetual lockdowns and jab mandates. So basically you fired this guy for his political opinions and for having the balls to tell you that he fucking disagreed with you. That makes you look like absolute dog shit, Max. Like, the fact that you're putting this out to such a sycophantic audience that they'll put aside any amount of critical thinking. Like, this is hilarious. He thinks this is such an own. He thinks he's owning the shit out of Ben Norton right now, and he's just making himself look like the world's largest hypocrite. But let's go on. He thus violated an employment contract he signed. This is some big boss shit. He must have learned that from his daddy when his daddy wasn't, destroying the fucking country of Libya. He thus violated an employment contract he signed, which explicitly forbade Grayzone contractors from attacking one another in public. This behavior followed a string of bizarre ethical breaches and came during a lengthy period in which Ben refused to work or communicate with me. After being fired, Ben unilaterally seized control of numerous social media accounts belonging to the Grayzone. He also seized the YouTube and Patreon accounts dedicated to our shared Moderate Rebels podcast. He was like, bro, you're not taking the pod. LOL, you got to be quicker than that, Max. Come on now. Ben then initiated a shocking bait and switch scheme, attempting to reappropriate these accounts to establish a new outfit, Multipolarista, which was exclusively under his control. The outlet was rebranded in January as Geopolitics and Economy Report. In doing so, he deceived the public, stole intellectual property belonging to the organization, which had employed him for over 3 years, defrauded supporters of moderate rebels and violated a written agreement with me to share earnings from our podcast. According to the original written agreement, split earnings from moderate rebels, Ben and I each received approximately $3,000 per month since absorbing our other podcast Patreon account in January. I estimate that Ben has received $70,000 that I would have been entitled to. Does that math? Yeah, 2 years, 30. Yeah, about that. I was only able to reestablish control of the Grayzone social media properties by delivering Ben a cease and desist letter, see screenshots below, through a legal advocate, and threatening him with a lawsuit if he did not enter into a process of negotiating a fair and equitable separation agreement. So he went and lawyered up. He went and loyaled up. He did the aristocracy move, you know. And yeah, again, describing his embarrassing L in great detail, but framing it as whistleblowing. Yeah, dude, it's hilarious. You know, the dude you started your podcast with, you fired, and he was like, "All right, I'm keeping the podcast." Seems like about how that would go down. I don't know. Some cop shit trying to fucking bring the lawyers into it, though.
So I was just gonna add that, yeah, this is all obviously from Max's perspective. So it's hard to tell, right? We're kind of in like a he said situation, because let's put up Ben's response here. Here's what Ben says. Max Blumenthal constantly lies. After I left the Grayzone over his opportunist right-wing turn, he hired a corporate lawyer to threaten to sue me. Note, later we signed legal terms of resolution overseen by his attorney. Why did he threaten such an absurd lawsuit? I had created social media accounts for a podcast that we co-hosted, but which I single-handedly produced, edit, and promoted. I always ran those accounts and he never had access. So being the bully he is, he used some of his vast wealth to hire a corporate lawyer to try to seize them, ridiculously claiming that I stole the accounts that he never had access to, which I created and always ran myself. I repeat, we eventually signed legal terms of resolution in a process mediated by a mutual colleague and overseen by his attorney. Anyone who doesn't mention those legal terms of resolution is deceiving you. And he goes on to say that he left the Grayzone because it's obviously run by an unstable megalomaniac with no coherent principles. True. Took a far hard right-wing turn, intentionally appealing to Trump's MAGA followers. He condemned the left as a cult. Blumenthal and his wife are so close to racist reactionary Tucker Carlson, they invite him over for dinner. They have long abandoned any pretense of being on the left and are opportunist contrarians who believe in nothing other than self-aggrandizement, which is 100% straight facts.
Also, guys, I want everybody to remind yourself. So this is the same group of people who love to bring up Obama's destruction of Libya as a counterpiece to every argument about the Democrats. That is how this man's father made his money. When he mentions Max's vast wealth, that is what his fucking father accumulated by being a chief Clinton advisor. And I'm not talking about in the 90s. Of course, he was a Clinton advisor in the 90s, but he also served as a chief advisor to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on the country of Libya, which, as you guys all know, we destroyed with the help of NATO. It is something that the Grayzone loves to talk about. I'm looking for this just so we have receipts here. Clinton Foundation paid Blumenthal $10K per month while he advised on Libya. We don't have to tell you guys what he advised on. This is how Max made his wealth with his father's blood money. And yet he's going to lawyer up. And basically what I imagine happened is, guys, this kind of shit. Max had a platform, right? Ben Norton wants to start this podcast. He cuts it. He edited it. He fucking named it, right? Did all the shit, ran the accounts, whatever. And then he was splitting it with Max to kind of get Max's like boost from it, to fucking like get it to be promoted on the Grayzone. Like, you know, the Grayzone was paying his bills, yada, yada, yada. $3,000 a month for that podcast, though. Pretty good pay. That's more than Gavin and I make. That's for fucking sure. Anyway. So actually, I think, yeah, that's better. That's way more than we make anyway, because that's them splitting it two ways. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Imagine if Ryan Grimm had Rachel Maddow over for dinner. LMAO. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, it's ridiculous. It makes Max look very bad, and the fact that he's doing it in public makes it just hilarious. He's the one that's telling everybody about this, and it's like, bro, you look terrible. And also, there's a video of him like going to harass Ben Norton like in Nicaragua. Like somebody's like. I don't know why you would do that, but if you come up to me on a bus like that, we're fucking scrapping, bro. Like, I would be so hot. I would be fucking livid. Like, I mean, I don't know what like Ben Norton's so like calm and collected, and he's got like his girlfriend, and bro, we would be like, we would not be on that bus anymore. Like, Like, fuck no. Like, I'm not gonna have somebody come up in front of my fucking girlfriend and like try and talk shit. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're getting off at the next stop and we're fucking settling it. Like, absolutely the fuck not. I don't play that game. That's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy shit. Just coming up to him in Nicaragua and filming him and shit. Like,
Dude,
what the
isn't that
fuck,
fucking
dude?
deranged, bro?
Yeah.
You have to be a fucking psychopath. Like, this is him confessing to being a psychopath right now. And if you want to treat me like a psychopath, I'll treat you like a fucking psychopath. You're not ready to play with me. And I'm not even kidding, guys. Like, I think that it's clear that if somebody follows you to a foreign country and starts antagonizing you with their phone up, then it's time to roll. It's time to rock and roll. Hey, man, like, whatever. I don't know what the laws are in Nicaragua. I don't give a shit. Nicaraguan jail's probably not fun, but neither is being fucking humiliated on a camera like that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be able to do it to myself.